Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, we're back on the hood for that 1950 Chevy truck, and honestly, I wasn't even going to shoot a video of me polishing the underside of this thing. I wasn't even planning on it, but you guys saw me put the runs in underneath here, so you guys can watch me get them out. I've already sanded all the runs out, and I actually had a sag and a bug I had to sand out as well. So I did a kind of a quickie sand job. It is still underneath the hood. It is a driver, so I shouldn't even be polishing this at all, but it is what it is. So we're gonna jump in here. We're gonna talk about the way we're gonna protect this. The reason I'm polishing it now, you may think I'm crazy because the other side doesn't have paint on it. But once I flip this over, I do not want to flip it back over and risk damaging the good side. So that's why we're going to polish it right now. So let's jump in here. We're going to take a look at what I did and then what we're going to do to protect this thing so polish doesn't get everywhere. Okay, as you guys recall, we had a couple of runs right there, a little one over here. I had one over here, and I found a little sag over there, and I think there was a bug over here. It was kind of a mess underneath here. And that's kind of the problem when you're painting in a bowl like this. When you spray, nothing moves away. It just kind of circles and lands right back on it. It's just the way it is, and it just wasn't a good day if you guys remember. So I went ahead and sanded everything. It's not perfect color sand for polish. We're just gonna kind of get some of these imperfections out and then make it shiny again. So that's it. So over here, I used, basically on all of them, I used the glazing putty trick. I'll show you right here. So what I did, I just laid some glazing putty on there, and then let it set up and then sand it, and the glazing putty actually saves you from over sanding on each side of the run or drip or sag or whatever you have. And that way it's almost like guide coat, so it tells you where you're at, so you know exactly how deep you are and how much farther you have to go. So, and these aren't really sanded out perfectly. I mean, they're still probably going to show a little bit, but it's just underneath the hood. So that's the name of the game here, is get this shiny, get some of these imperfections out of here, and then get this thing flipped over, and let's get the other side painted. That's my ultimate goal. Okay, when I'm polishing this, I don't want any of the polish to make its way through any of these little slots or holes and get on the primer on the other side. Now, the polish I use is considered to be what they call body shop safe. It doesn't have silicones in it or anything like that, so if it floats around in the body shop and lands on a panel, it's not the end of the world. So, that's very important here, but we're still going to protect that primer, that bare primer on the other side. So I'm going to run a piece of tape up underneath, and we're going to cover all those holes, and then I'm going to lay some tape on top here because I didn't sand all the way up to this little ridge right here, so I can mask this back and then just kind of pinch it together. It'll keep the compound out of all these little grooves and make it easier to clean up. And then we're going to move on, and we're going to mask all these holes all the way around to make sure it doesn't get any compound, blowing through the other side like it will. You guys know how it works out. And then on this side, I don't want that compound shooting up underneath this brace here. So I didn't sand right up to the edge. So once again, I can lay some tape on here and just drape some paper over the edge. We're not going to be polishing on this side, I don't think. It looks fine. And then that's going to kind of seal us up. And I'll probably lay some up over here and just let it drape over the side. That way I can be sure nothing's going to get on the primer on the other side. It's tape and paper is cheap, in the long run. So we're just going to kind of mask this off a little bit, kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm going to bust it out real quick. I'll bring you back and we'll get to polishing on this thing. Okay guys, we've got everything masked off really nice. All the holes have filled so we can polish right up to the tape and not have a problem. The sanding, I didn't sand all the way up to these edges, so it's going to be, I can just bump right up against it. It's not going to be a problem. So today we're going to be using, this is like a 5.5, 6-inch pad on here, and I'm going to just do this for the whole thing, and I'm not going to jump up to the bigger 8 or 9-inch foam pads. We're just going to use these small ones, and that'll get me down inside the radiuses real nice, and then I don't have to worry about that big wheel bridging over and hitting on the edges and not in the middle where I want it. So it should work out well, and I can get up inside some of these corners where I got close in these right here without switching over to the little tiny one. So let's jump in here, get some number 1 on here, and get to polishing. Now this is going to be a little awkward reaching over like this, but it should be no problem. Fair amount of pressure. Stay in a small area. Don't get carried away. Ease up on the pressure a little bit. Let the speed come up by itself. Give it a little bit more. Okay, let's wipe that off and see how it looks. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I can see, if I look down in the lights, I can see some sand scratches still, so we need to hit that again. And then we're just going to move over and do the same thing. I'm going to be methodical about it. I don't want to leave this until I'm happy the way it looks. Then we'll move over to another section about this big, and we'll just keep jumping around. Yeah, it looks a lot better now. See little sand scratches right here, but I'll just buff over, polish over a little bit when I'm doing that. We'll take care of those, no problem. That looks great. Let's move on. See how the smaller wheel helps out a lot right here, getting down to that radius. All right, guys, it's looking pretty good. I don't know if you guys can tell, see the reflection in there, but it's looking really good. I can see some of the little nubbins and stuff I didn't sand out perfectly, but it's just the underside of the hood, so we're just going to leave it. But it's looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and bust out the rest of this, and I'll bring you back. We'll take a look at it, and we'll switch over to step 2 and finish this sucker off. Okay, guys, got it all polished with the number 1. Now we're going to go to number 2, and I actually had to move up to the larger pads because I just wasn't getting anywhere with the smaller ones, and it was kind of awkward in here, and it was taking way too much time. So I moved up to the bigger ones. I'm just going to be extra careful to make sure I don't dig this edge in and ruin the clear. So let's get this number 2 going here and get these shined up real nice, and then we'll take it out in the sun, see how it looks. Now using a big one, you get more, the pad is larger, so it's actually spinning faster and doing a much larger area for each revolution. Whereas the smaller ones, you got to work a really small area and stay on it and really work it hard. So just using the bigger ones gets more real estate covered faster. Now right in here is the little tricky spot. If I come in too hard, then the hard plastic right here is going to hit and it's going to dig in. So I'm just kind of carefully bumping up to there, and then when I do the side, I'll carefully bump down. Now I can see what I'm doing here, but when I'm leaning over the edge, I can't see it, so I have to be extra cautious. So we're going to get the spread around here a little bit. And if you come in at a little bit of an angle, it kind of smooths out that curve a little bit. right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna zip through this real quick and then we'll get it wiped off, unmasked, and take a look at it. All right, I'm gonna wipe this thing off. We're gonna call it good. It's just the underside of the hood. I gotta keep telling myself that. So let me clean this up and we'll take a look at it. Okay guys, all done. Looks pretty good. Shiny, blue. I think it'll look really good up when the hood's open and that nice clean engine of Darren's right underneath it. So pretty happy. I could be a lot happier, but we weren't supposed to even paint underneath the hood originally, and then now we are. So I think it came out really well. I'm sure Darren will be happy, and now we can move on to getting this hood flipped over and getting to work on the top side. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up this quick video on me fixing my mistake. So put the runs in, gotta take the runs out, and if you guys watched the last video, you know I knew better. I even said it when I was spraying the blue. Turn the gun down or you're going to put a run in the clear. I told you guys that. Did I listen to myself? Nope, not at all. Ended up putting a sag and two or three runs in this thing. So got them all sanded out, got the bugs sanded out. It looks good. It's got some waves in it. Wasn't shooting for perfection on the underside, but we just wanted to smooth it out. It looks fantastic where our dent repair is, but there's other spots in here. There are other dents in this hood that you know, you can kind of see on the underside that we didn't repair. So all in all, I'm really happy, and I'm sure Darren's going to be thrilled too. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Keep those comments coming, guys. I love getting them. I love talking to you guys. We'll see you on the next one.